Thanks for joining us tonight for a Dreamtime Transmission. Hopefully, these dreams help you drift into sleep easily. I would greatly appreciate it if you liked and subscribed before you drift off. New videos are released every night, so join us tomorrow if you like. Thank you, and good night.
For my love, Kieran. Hi, sorry, I kinda don't know how this works. But anyways, I had a dream today. I literally woke up like an hour ago. LMAO, and it had me a bit kabobbled. I can't remember the littlest details of C, but I remember that my dog had ran off. This would have been after I'd been dreaming for at least a few hours, Waikowim. And I started chasing her because I'm always paranoid at letting her run off. As I passed the corner of the house, I was at this drunk MF, a friend of my dad's that I've known since I was a baby. He's also a druggie. Came from around the corner and hit me in the back of the head with a beer bottle, which obviously knocked me to the ground. He's like 3 gazillion feet taller than me, and fat like a well-cooked piggy. After I'd fallen, he sexually assaulted/raped me. No details and such here, buddy. Afterwards, I just kinda sat there in the grass alone forever when my older sister and her BF, I love them both, SM is, asked me BTF I was doing, and I went with them somewhere. The rest of the dreams, I can't remember where I went or what I did, but I do know that all of it was like a blur. I didn't tell anyone in the dream what happened, but I was thinking the whole time. I also changed a lot. I got more irritable, angry and such, but also just sad and always spacing out. Does that make sense? I'm racking my brain trying to come up with an idea about what this could mean, but also not sure if this is even related, but I never know how I'm feeling, if that makes sense. Like, genuinely. And I also can't remember anything, including things from like yesterday. But I can always remember dreams pretty well, and they always stick with me, and I'm always thinking of them. Why? Why? But I always think so much about it that it gives me headaches. LMAO. Anyways, thank y'all for listening to my just woke up dream rant, lolol, and if anyone knows what it might mean, Plamek.
From Gil Emmer. I'm not even sure it was a dream, but a dream is the best I can describe it. I was blissfully aware the entire night how great I was sleeping. I felt extremely calm and at peace, all while thinking to myself all throughout the night how great I was sleeping. I vaguely recall feeling myself laying in my bed in my room, but it was not outer body. It was almost the same calm, comfy feeling you get right as you're falling asleep, but deeper, the entire night, and euphoric. I'd love to hear some thoughts on this. From lucid dreams. So ever since I was around 6, I would have these crazy dreams where weird shit would happen. And there were lucid dreams, and last night I tested listening to music, and it was distorted. And I could hear it last night, and many times. In the past, I have dreams where I can't wake up, and last night I had to look at a black square, and I got jump scared. And I had to go into my basement to find none of my family members hiding around the corner and touch them. They proceed to kill me while tickling me ever since I was born. I have been horribly ticklish, and every lucid. Dreams, I have to diet to get out, and they're so violent. Also, something is wrong in my house because sometimes when I wake up, my plushies on my bed will be staring at something, and it will only be like 2 of them. And they stare at a main point of my dreams. Like last night, it was only about me. Like I kept hearing my name and seeing my distorted reflection. And when I woke up, it felt like my body had been under a fire and my room is cold and my body felt thought. I only slept under a thin blanket. Can someone tell me what's going on or how to help?
From Holy Puck 77. I've experienced a number of dreams where there's been a sense of taste or smell not present in my bedroom at the time. Is there any significance behind so-called olfactory dreams, psychologically and or physiologically? Note, I suffered a traumatic brain injury 6 years ago and have no recollection of such dreams before then.
From Dog Major 883. Okay, so, about 2 years ago, my church member's son went missing. He left the house for work, dressed in his work uniform, and never came home. They put out so much money so many times about information on his departure. Nothing. Today my mom and I woke up extra early, talking catching up. We both lay back down to get some more sleep. I dreamed that I was out of town for work in a warm city. The reason why I say it was a warm city, because everything about the visit said that it was post-Christmas, January, maybe early February. This is a normal thing because I travel with my job. But this airport that I was in was unrecognizable. It was very chaotic and unorganized. When I got to the airport terminal after security, it was 9:27 a.m. My flight didn't leave till 9:30 p.m. Somehow I got locked into a country music concert. It was where a lot of people were sitting. I didn't know it, but the entire time at this concert, I was hanging out with the headlining singer and his family. Over the course of the concert, he became absolutely smitten with me. A little creepy, but it didn't bother me as much because we're not going to see each other after this, right? Wrong. While we sat there, his children, somehow I were able to look through my things and get my name and information. After the concert, he started groping me, forced my phone out of my and inside my next location. I stepped away from him and walked by a kiosk. My friend Robbie was working at the kiosk. I thought it was weird, but I didn't question because Robbie went from retail back to the classroom. Then I left the concert area and went to a lounge. The lounge had rooms for privacy, and I took one and rearranged my carry-on. When I stepped out of the lounge, the country star was right there, basically telling me how he already rented a suite in Orlando, which is not far from the location that I was going. It was very much giving kidnap. When he walked away, I turned around and I saw him. I'm standing 6 foot in the caramel skin complexion that he was the only one that I knew had. I heard his voice, but he didn't know me. However, he told me his name, but I called him Mikey, and our conversation was about continuing to do great things. We talked very casually, as if from meeting for the first time. I have known this man since I was 13 years old. For some reason in the dream, I could muster up any questions about why he was missing. Did he even know he was missing person? It seems like all he knew what to tell me to keep going and pay attention to the details. I went back to the lounge and realized that my flight ticket had changed. My flight actually left at 3:30 p.m. The last flight leaving to Dallas was at 9 p.m. It was 7 p.m. I looked back at my watch and it was 3:30. The fly had closed, but I was doing everything to get to the gate and couldn't. I just kept going in circles. I passed him several times. He would try to help me knowing I was lost. Finally, he took me to a plane strip that was on the tarmac. He said, "I think you'll be okay from here." I got on the plane and woke up. Can someone tell me what the hell just happened?
From Julia Altarienka, I often have the same kind of dream. It's always about me coming back home, I assume from school because I remember always having a backpack. When I walk through the town, there's never really anything that catches my eye, but there's always someone either stalking me or wanting to hurt me, and often I am running away from someone. My house is always different too. I live on the 2nd floor, so I have to walk through the staircase. Besides different color walls and all that, the stairs are always abnormally long, go in different ways. There are weird obstacles, the door is usually unreachable, and they just kind of look like the M.C. Escher's paintings House of Stairs or Relativity. Overall, the plot of the dreams are me usually running away from something/someone and be unable to come back home. I also find it weird how those are one of few dreams I always remember, and I'm just wondering if they could mean anything important.
From Funeral Ghost. Hello, I live in a shared house with another person, landlord. He just comes home to sleep. He has 2 children, both teenagers, and an ex-wife. They all lived in this house as a family before my landlord and his wife divorced. So in my dreams, I was living with all 4 of them. I was confused. His son had a headband, like he played guitar in a rock star band, and his daughter was up to something, I am not sure. Then I turned around, I saw a mirror, and then I saw his ex-wife naked. Now, I don't really know how his ex-wife looks like, but in my dreams she was naked, curly hair, pale face, but pinkish body. I was frightened, but none of them could see me or they were so unbothered that I lived there, like I was invisible. I shared all this with my landlord, and he said this is really accurate in some ways because his son used to play bass guitar and had headband on. His daughter always liked different things, so all her ventures were kept changing, so there's no pinning down what she liked. And his ex-wife, to this day, opens door all naked. Now she doesn't have brown curly hair, but she has pinkish body. How did I see all this in my dreams? I am going through stress right now, but I am not sure why I dreamt of these people that don't mean much to me.
From OK Conclusion, 3535. I wanted to write weirdest dream I ever had. I misspelled. I just found out about this community and I want to share this dream. So, me and my family are going to see the Last of Us movie, What Brain? But apparently to watch it, you have to take a pass from a supermarket. So we go into the supermarket. In the meantime, my crush is asking me if I'm a virgin and what's my dick size, what brain, and complains that I'm ignoring her for fraud. My best friend tells me that she will not be present at the movie. Instead, at the movies, in the front seat, there's an old friend of mine that now I don't really like much. Anyway, there's a time skip and we're driving back home when we get into a car accident. Another time skip. We're sitting at home when my father comes in saying he could have a really bad sickness. Turns out that sickness is dementia since he starts forgetting stuff. Plus, he becomes a little creepy when he's driving. Then there's another scene where we are in an abandoned house and there's a lot of police and a black policeman is screaming at me to tell him what happened. The end. Now, I don't really get what and if this dream means anything. I just woke up being really creeped out because my father was genuinely creepy in the dream. Like if he could kill me in any moment. And I don't know why, because my father is a nice guy. Plus, I don't get the beginning. Later in the dream, my BFF and crush disappear completely. I don't even take the phone. So why in the hell were they there?
From the true Memelord. The funniest part is probably that one meme image, but full body, was a real and very clear constellation you could see in the sky. I was like, what? No way. It's real. And it was created from my brain, just because I saw this one meme image a few times on social media these past few days. In the dream, he was apparently supposed to do a thumbs up in the image, but didn't in the actual constellation in the sky. Then I was at a weird school, and I lost my phone. Then I lost my computer, went into the wrong classroom, found old but unopened package with a weird Sans Undertale sweatshirt in it, with the head sprites, some text and red colour splatter on it, probably to resemble ketchup. This was on a shelf in the school, outside of the classrooms, with some other stuff. I went outside and could see everything from a Minecraft creative mode view, and the world consisted of countryside landscape and a few Deltarune characters, all of which were turned into cars that looked like lawnmowers with the characters' colour palette. Lancer was on fire. Then I went back down to the school, which was now a library. 2 girls almost ran me over with a car outside of the school/library, and then got mad at me when I called them out, proceeded to try to run me over again. Then some kind of danger/fire alarm went off, and everyone calmly walked away.
From Zik420. Some nights I have dreams lately. They are so realistic that I can't tell them apart from real life. I have an ex that I was with for a long time and broke up a lot and got back together, that kind of thing. She did me dirty so many times and I kept taking her back because I really did love her. For years now, because of medical problems, drug use, etc., I haven't had dreams while I sleep. If I do, then I don't remember them at all. About 2 months ago, I got the medical problems addressed, and for about 6 months I have been clean and just on methadone. But lately, these dreams are so realistic that like I can feel things and can't tell it apart from real life or not. And during the day I don't think about her, and try my hardest not to, because she really did fuck me up and break my heart. I thought that I was finally over it and able to move on. And now I'm having dreams about her like every night, and they're not like bad dreams. It's like flashbacks, almost of when we were together and everything was perfect, and then I wake up and am all depressed and shit. I don't understand dreams that much, so that's why I'm here asking you guys. Obviously it makes a little sense because I was with her for years, off and on. I basically grew up with her. I always forgave her, took her back. I loved her more than anything in the world. She was my world, and she did me so wrong that I can't stand to even think about her. But why am I like subconsciously still thinking about her in my dreams and stuff? If anybody could shed some light, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
From Im No Longer Hi. Hello, friends. I'm a 22-yo female, kinda new to Reddit and this sub, but I really need help. I'll keep it short as possible. I keep having nightmares, but they're really weird. I start off by sleeping, and then randomly it'll start fine, but then quickly turn dark. I mean, like demon dark. I start to just feel myself falling asleep, and then boom, I'm no longer asleep. Like, I know I'm sleeping, but I also don't. I'll start spinning on my knees in my bed, like just rotating, and then I wake up because I'm scared, and then go back to sleep to try again, and then I'm like spinning in a circle, laying down, if that makes any sense. Then I'll wake up again and get confused because I thought I was awake already, but I'm awake in the same position I fell asleep in. I'll try again, and I'm somehow upside down, and I see my hand up, but I'm confused. So I wake up, and nope, I'm in the same position. But this last time I try to sleep, it happens again with me on my knees, and then I get dizzy and lightheaded. Then I'll see this like symbol right before I wake up, and boom, I'm shook to my core because it doesn't feel right. It's like someone else is doing it to me, and the only way I can get it to stop is if I don't sleep. I'm extremely scared because I've never had nightmares like this before. Usually it's just the good old scary movie nightmares, but this feels weird. And the symbol is like a Rolo triangle. It's definitely not good energy because right before I fall asleep, it'll feel like someone is watching me, and I'm not crazy, lol. Okay, that's all. I'm sorry if that was a lot or like confusing, but those are the only things I can remember once I'm awake for a while.
From Ono Amira. Hello. I don't usually remember my dreams, but last night I had the most vivid nightmare, and I'm trying to figure out what it means and would love some other opinions. First, let me explain. My older sister and I aren't on good terms at all. We constantly fight, and she is extremely mentally ill and refuses to get help. Every time I am around her, it feels like I'm walking on eggshells, and I constantly have anxiety. And when she is around, I record myself just in case anything happens because she's made consistent threats to me, and I just like keeping track of everything. Last night had a dream that we were arguing and I can't remember what it was about, but then she put her hands on me and was choking me, and she had such an evil look on her face, and it's like she was using all of her strength to squeeze my neck and I couldn't breathe, and I kept hitting her and tried to get her to stop, and she wouldn't let go, and then it did what happened, but she finally did and went away. And I was left with a handprint wrapped around my neck, and it was extremely red and slowly starting to bruise, and I could feel my throat feeling so sore and weak, and it just felt sore. And I don't know what to take from it. Does anyone know what it possibly mean, or was it just a regular nightmare? From there, Alice LTK. So, on Friday night, 2 days ago, I had a very vivid dream. I was in the entrance of my house when someone kept trying to get into my house. My parents and I were struggling to keep the door closed, and when we gave up, it was my brother. But something was off about him. He kept spasming, and I was scared, so I punched him in the head and ripped the skin off of his head. I kept waking up from the dream for split seconds, then falling straight back into it. During the dream, there were 2 clones of me, and I had to kill them as well. Then I ended up in a garden. It looked familiar, but I couldn't place it. And then my IRL alarm went off. I haven't described the dream well enough to fully convey how fucking terrified I was, and still am whenever I think about it. Can someone help me understand what was going on? Because when in my dream, I ended up in that garden, there were people around me that I could recognize, but not really, kind of like an Uncanny Valley situation. Sue.
From Reaper 16132. I'm posting this just because I thought it was interesting. I don't remember much of the dream I had last night, except for the end of it. I was seeing a man's face under dark, murky water, but there was a light held up from somewhere, so I could see his face. I didn't have a body. It was more like I was a camera watching this. These divers had to get this guy in a suit up out of the water, and he has a glass bowl on his head for some reason. As they tried to pull the man up, the bowl slipped off and his ears started to bleed. He began to scream, and his head exploded. One of the divers let out this yell that echoed through my head. I wake up, and it's about 5:30 a.m., and I'm sweating and terrified. I then look at my phone to see a text from my bro 4 minutes ago telling me to get on the game. So that's pretty much it.
From Bloon Peachy. I had this dream that I just woke up from, and can vaguely remember, but the key points I do remember are that at one point, my adult teeth were underneath my gums. And at a later point, I was talking to my 2 closest roommates, and I was holding something in my hand. and I wasn't supposed to lose or let go of it. But my roommate was narrating about how it would be impossible for me to still hold on to that. And I'm met by a huge crushing wave to which I start drowning, and I remember clutching my hands hard and hearing him tell me those things in my head still, slowly drowning in the dream, to which I see a darkness and realize, now I'm dying. And I wake up.
From Alchemy. For as long as I can remember, I have dreams where, when defending myself, my hands would move so slow that a punch had no effect on my opponent. In more recent years, however, I am not only able to defend myself, but inflict serious damage to my foe. And now, I don't need to be under any serious threat to fight in my dreams. Last night, I felt that a character in my dream offended me. I grabbed them forcefully by their jacket sleeve and swung them face first into a commercial mixer, knocking them out momentarily, and from what I could tell, their nose was obviously broken. Does this mean anything? Does this say anything about me as a person?
From P. Sherman, 42, Wallaby Dwawawa. This one happened to me about 10 or 11 years ago. I dreamt of a large 2-story home. It was salmon peach colored, up on a mountainside. There was a long driveway, and part of the parking area was centered between the large home on the right and large garage on the left. The buildings were connected by a sort of bridge over the top of the parking area. That's obviously a very unique design, to walk on a bridge from a home to garage. In my dream, it wasn't so much a bridge, because it was basically an enclosed hallway. But you get the idea. Flash forward some time, and a friend invited me to come over to hang. She lived about 25 minutes from me. Her parents were very wealthy, and she lived in an apartment in the lowest floor of the house. I guess technically it was 3 stories in real life, or split level, because you parked and entered on the middle floor. From the outside, it appears to be 2 rather than 3 floors. Anyways, as we parked our cars, I realized this home was the exact replica from my dream. The home was peachy salmon-colored. There was an enclosed hallway overhead, connecting the home to the garage on the left. Above the garage, they had a massive playroom with arcade-type stuff, pool and ping-pong tables, etc. I've had a lot of things like this happen in my life, but this one was so memorable. What do you think it means?
From Kinda Smart But Dumb, I had a dream about oarfish. My brain fights to get back to sleep to finish the dream, every time I try to wake up. Every time I wake up and close my eyes again, I get straight back to where I left off. In my dreams, I kept on repeating, "It's an oarfish," and kept on reminding myself or my brain to search for the meaning of oarfish in dreams. Somehow, there was a part of me that's aware of dreaming. That dream really sticks to me. From Fun Huckleberry 6666. So I slept with my left AirPod Pro on. I had a dream about eating chocolate, so I thought my left AirPod was chocolate, so I took a bite of it. I didn't really think much of it until later on the same day when I had to use them. When I put my right AirPod on, they worked as usual, but the left one didn't work. And when I took a look at it, it got a bite mark on it. Then I remembered what had happened. Smooch. Now I have to buy new ones.
From Nodster 8. Almost my whole family has had at least one dream like this. My mum gets them often. She describes them as almost prehistoric looking, whereas mine was a big tendril monster in a large pond. We've been looking for a while and can't find much except for a Quora post describing the exact same thing. But all the comments were either spiritual things or simply, "You want to swim with weird fishes." Could someone please explain this? Has anyone else had these?
From Summer 11/6. So for the last maybe 10 to 12 years, I dream of the same place literally every night. It's a town and also a city. The town has a boardwalk with shops. There is a mall there, sometimes a school, and sometimes a hospital. Sometimes I'm even working in my dream. There's water by the boardwalk, but I wouldn't call it an ocean. If you drive to the city, you pass a park with a huge lake. There are a lot of highways going to the city. Sometimes I'm driving in my dream, and sometimes I'm walking. There's also a house in my dream I'm familiar with, but have never seen in real life. A lot of times my family in real life, whether past or still alive, will be at that house. There are other people in my dream, but I have no clue who they are. There is also an airport that I frequent, and a water park. Don't ask. I tend to swim a lot in these dreams. I could literally draw out this whole place. Anyone else have any similar experiences? Thanks in advance.
From In the Arms of Dill. In a mall, I found myself shopping. Wherever I had come from added simply seconds or minutes to this dream. I must have been in REM. It turned into a nightmare real fast. I had taken off towards a rack of clothes, noticing it was Smashing Pumpkins themed. I looked down at the items, seeing 2 pants. Contemplating buying it, I instantly grabbed a fleece pair of pants that had melancholy designs on it. The face, a cream-colored font of the title, and probably symbols or images from the deluxe booklet. A girl walked beside me, seemingly annoyed when I grabbed it. While walking away, I checked the size, a small. They'd probably fit me currently. I wanted to pay half for them, needing to go get the money and find wherever my mom was. My sister was around too. Suddenly, a French woman approached me, speaking somewhat in her native tongue in English. She offered me a job, warily. You, job, work, for me. I understood her perfectly. I agreed to do it, then she hesitated. I would, but I need someone who could work all day with people. Someone who is judgmental. You aren't, are you? I laughed quietly. No, I'm not. Up ahead was vendors as I was in a cafe. I saw myself in front of an ice cream one, directly next to the sales table. No, we don't do that anymore, the man said, adamantly, reaching for the fleece pants from me and speaking so clear. I understood him even clearer, having the knowledge or memory that such a shopping behavior was real. Felt Gen X as fuck. Inside of the mall held booths of many themes, which is a reoccurring dream of mine. I glanced over at one that was Scream-themed, seeing modern interviews playing on a screen up front of it. Behind me were modernized arcade machines cornered by people. Out of literally nowhere, a Spirit Halloween animatronic got my attention. 2 of them. Little girls riding on a wooden rocking chair. They're coming to get you. Don't go to sleep, it sang. I can still hear it, and this was 7.5 hours ago. I woke up at 12:58. I warily called someone out, running away in fear. I passed by my sister, seeing another but different rocking chair animatronic. I assume the singing I'm recalling is from the 2013 reboot of The Evil Dead. I figured so, immediately after I woke up. I felt myself sitting up. In between sleep and awake, past REM, it was completely black. I had just remembered that this happens yesterday when I was looking through other people's posts. I could feel a version of me sitting upright, and knowing another was asleep and dreaming. This can happen during lucid dreams too. But when that happens, it's more positive, that paralysis. Very REM too. I was shook awake right after that. I fell back asleep after at least 25 minutes, dreaming of a lot of demonic shit. Seeing the main color red a lot. In my last dream, I spent the entire time trying to tell her about that dream. At one point in between, I was in another mall. Saw Hot Topic. The storefronts can vary in my dreams. This one was punk-themed, scribbles and flyers covering the entranceway. Didn't go inside. I later would scribble that dream down with a black dry erase marker on a full board, constantly being interrupted, exactly like my real-life family dynamics.
Hopefully, you aren't hearing this message because you are asleep, but if you are still awake, I would like to thank you for joining us for tonight's Dreamtime Transmission.